64 podcast. Really unfortunate, really unfortunate Alex cannot be here.
We really
power through.
We really hope he's feeling better the next time he's on.
Okay. We're starting this week with the Big Ten scoreboard. We'll get to the Ohio State, Wisconsin, Michigan games later. Let's look at these three games. Iowa defeats Purdue 26-20. Minnesota beats Rutgers 42-7. Indiana beats Maryland 34-28. Reactions to these games. None of these games matter anymore. The only games that matter are ones involving Michigan State, Penn State, Wisconsin, and Ohio State, and Minnesota. None of the other games matter. Minnesota's the best team in the Big Ten West. Not even close. And it's going to be an Ohio State, an undefeated Ohio State versus an undefeated Minnesota Big Ten championship game.
I completely agree with that. I subscribe to that theory as well. Iowa sucked. They should have lost the football game. Purdue's not good. And they almost lost to them. It was embarrassing. They have 20 points to an inept offense. That's embarrassing for an Iowa team that had such high expectations going into the season. But the year is just not gone the way they've expected it to go. And Kirk Ferentz is on the hot seat, so he better start winning, or else he's going to be gone at the end of the year. Minnesota, congratulations to them. Big win. Rutgers, second touchdown of the conference season. Very good from them as well. Indiana with a solid win. Both teams had their backup QBs. If Indiana had Penix, they would have won by 30+. They only had the crappy Peyton Ramsey, and that's the only reason why the game was close. But Indiana's still going 9-3.
All right. What a win for Iowa. Absolutely incredible. A quadrant 1 win for Iowa.
It's not. That's just not a thing.
Yes, it is.
Nope.
What a win. Yeah. What a shocker. Chris making up more things. Just thinking of how Michigan's going to be a good basketball program this year. This Purdue team has proven to have a vaunted defense all year.
Oh, yeah?
Purdue went in, and Iowa went in there and scored 26 points. What a performance from Iowa. Great win. They're winning the Big Ten.
They're losing to Northwestern this week. That's going to be a 3-0 game.
Minnesota, that's an embarrassing win. Terrible win for them. They suck. I've never seen a person like Chris. He says all that matters is that you win. And then he goes out and he's like, oh, that's an embarrassing win. Depends on the situation. Indiana, great win for them. They're a solid team. Maryland, I was a little wrong about them. All right.
Did I not say Maryland was going 3-9 this year? After they started 2-0?
You might have said that. We're moving on. Penn State holds on to beat Michigan 28-21. Reactions to this game. Embarrassing performance by Michigan. James Franklin again tries to hand the game away. He's such a bad coach, and Michigan just doesn't take it. Michigan chokes again, like always. That could have been a great win for Jim Harbaugh's program, but he decided to let Penn State have the game, I guess. What an embarrassing performance. Honestly, Michigan should just be kicked out of the Big Ten. The only value they bring to the Big Ten is when they play Ohio State in the last Saturday of November every year. That's the only value they bring because everyone still thinks it's a rivalry game. But it's not a rivalry game. Because for it to be a rivalry game, both teams would have to win at some point, and Michigan just never does.
All right. Oakland, Michigan State's a rivalry, and Oakland's never won a game. So there are instances where
Oakland should move to the Big Ten. Yeah, in place of Michigan.
Listen, we're playing on the road. We're playing at Oakland this year, so that's going to be a tough game. That's a quadrant 1 game. Luke said it best during the game. This was a battle between the two most mentally challenged coaches in the country. I mean, it was the stupidest coached game I think I've ever seen in my life. You got Michigan coming out as flat as a pancake. Just terrible. Their defense was terrible early in the game. Penn State's game plan sucked from the get-go. I'll get to that in a second. But because Michigan was so bad early, they were able to take advantage and get up 21-0. And then Michigan started to respond. And really, the only reason why Michigan was able to move the football was because of how tired the Penn State defense was getting, because Penn State refused to try to run the football. All they did was throw, and their offensive line isn't very good. The running backs don't seem to be very good either. They are just living and dying by their wide receivers and their freshman quarterback or sophomore, whatever the hell he is. The rookie quarterback they have. That 2-minute sequence at the end of the first half was a joke from both teams. Jim Harbaugh trying to bring out a guy who could barely reach from 40 yards, try a 58-yard field goal. That's an absolute joke. He could have had a Hail Mary. He could have had anything. It was bad. And then in the second half, once again, Penn State kept going 3-and-out after 3-and-out because they can't run the football. And Michigan did a decent job keeping them in check, except for KJ Hamler, because Don Brown refuses to differ from his defense that he plays against everybody. And, man, it looks good when they play Rutgers. Rutgers probably had like minus 10 yards the entire game. But when you play
speed, they beat you.
Exactly. Penn State has speed. They have one guy with speed at least, and he beat him about 10 times that game. It was a joke. Michigan was more talented. They played a much better game, but because of horrible coaching, they lost. And Penn State this game should have been a blowout. And because of awful coaching, it was close. It was a joke from both teams. Both teams are not.
It should have been a blowout for both sides.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with Mike on the fact that both coaches were really trying to out-choke each other. Both teams trying to lose. Actually, I should say both coaches trying to lose. But away from the coaching for a second, Penn State side, they played a really good game. This is a really good football team. BS.
No, they're not.
No.
They're on Iowa's level, I believe. They're not that good.
James Franklin holds them back, no doubt. That's probably what's going to keep them back.
No, their offensive line is going to keep them from doing anything. Their offensive line is garbage.
Look, their running game isn't great, but Sean Clifford really impressed me in this game. He made some big time throws.
Yeah, because they're wide open. I could have made those throws.
He made throws. That's the bottom line. Their defense is a lot better than the past. They've been playing well. They played pretty well here.
No, they're a good defense.
Their defense play well. Did their defense play well, or is Michigan just really bad? No, their defense played pretty well, I thought.
No, their defense is good, except for the fact that they were on the field the entire game because James Franklin continued to throw the football, even when he was up 21-0. It's a joke. It was embarrassing play calling from Penn State.
For the Michigan side, of course, in a big game they come out flat. Of course, they come out flat and they go down 21-0. Tell me if you've heard that before. And I thought we were heading to the same spot they were a couple of years ago in Happy Valley, but no. I'll tell you one thing. This year seems a little different. They fought.
No.
They fought hard. And let me tell you about the players on this team. I'll start with the offense. My quarterback, Jay Patterson, he's a gamer. He fought as hard as he could.
Okay, what is he against top 10 teams? He's a real good gamer. What is he, like 0-5, 0-6?
He's a gamer. When the game is okay, he's the Joe Flacco of college football.
No, he's not. Joe Flacco wins big games. Are you kidding me?
No,
give me a fucking break.
No, listen.
That's a joke.
For the first 3 quarters of games, he's not very good. The fourth quarter, he turns it on. And he's very much like compared to college quarterbacks. Brian Lewerke.
That's so disrespectful to Brian Lewerke. Give me a break.
He's a lot like Brock Purdy too.
Brock Purdy?
Yeah.
Where'd you get that one from?
No, very clutch in the fourth quarter. Anyways.
I thought you were going to say Nate Stanley.
The defense was state. The players are fine. I'll get to coaching in a second. The offensive side of the ball, coaching. The first half, the play calling was terrible, absolutely awful. I would have gone down and fired Josh Gaddis after the first half, but they didn't do that, and he redeemed himself. Did a nice job in the second half calling plays. So you know that one phone call that Jim Harbaugh had to hire him, really paid off.
I mean, you gotta give Gaddis some credit because, I mean, he does run into brick walls, but at least he does it for a reason because Penn State refuses to, and their defense gets hung out to dry because they're out there for 50 minutes and like 90 plays.
It did open up a little bit of running in the second half. The Harbaugh, I blame Harbaugh for a lot of losses. I don't know if I can blame him for this one. But my God, what are you doing at the end of the half bringing out Jim Moody? What are you? That's the last thing you would do. The absolute dead last thing you would do. Pick anything else in the playbook. Any play. A punt. A going for it. Bringing out Northeast. Anything.
Chris, James Franklin would have ran in a Gage 8 on a Hail Mary. So you would have had a guy wide open down the field.
Exactly. That play sums up Jim Harbaugh's recruiting and coaching career. You have a kid who has a huge leg that you slept with to get out of Michigan, and you can't bring him out. It's a joke. He's an NFL prospect. You don't even bring him out. It's a joke. Over this kid's house to recruit him. You have to come to Michigan, doesn't bring him out. That's ridiculous. The defense was. I had nothing against the players, but Don Brown is the reason we lost this football game.
No, Chris, he's Dr. Blitz. Dr. Blitz.
And I could have sat here and said and made excuses like, oh, Ronnie Bell should have caught the ball, or the officiating was terrible, and both those things are true, but the reason we lost this game...
Oh, blame the officials, you... Unbelievable.
This guy is going to blitz, and that, you know what? And he leaves a safety on KJ Hamlin. What do you expect to happen? It is absolute lunacy.
Chris, he's Dr. Blitz doesn't matter who he's playing. He's going to run the same thing against anybody.
He's clueless. That was very supportive of him. But overall, the players really impressed me. I'm very proud of my team. This is the best loss of the Harbaugh era.
Don't get things wrong. Michigan choked this game away. They should have won this football game, and they choked. They couldn't get it in the end zone. They lost. It's as simple as that. They choked the game away.
This is the best loss of the Harbaugh era.
All right.
All right, let's move on.
What about Utah?
No, this is a better loss.
When Rudock threw that pick six?
All right, let's move on. What a win for Lovie Smith and Illinois as they take down Wisconsin 24-23. What are your reactions? Here's my problem. The loss is whatever. Like we've been saying for a couple of weeks. Teams like the undefeated, even though Mike thinks there will be a million undefeated teams at the end of the year, games will be games like Georgia lost to South Carolina, now Wisconsin losing to Illinois. My problem is with the SEC biased media. Might as well call them SEC-SPN because it is an absolute joke. Georgia loses at home on homecoming to South Carolina after they choked. They had at least three chances in the last 5 minutes of the game to win that game, and they don't do it. And it's like, oh, they still have a chance at the playoff. And it just shows how deep the SEC is. And then Illinois goes and beats Wisconsin on a last-minute field goal. Wisconsin didn't trail that entire game. They beat them on a last-minute field goal. And it's just an absolute joke. And now SEC-SPN is out here saying, oh, Wisconsin's eliminated the playoff, blah, 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 blah. Why is it when the SEC has an upset, it just shows the depth? But when the Big Ten has an upset, it just shows you how bad the Big Ten is. It's an absolute joke.
Okay. That is true. It's always been true, and it's always going to be true. There's nothing you can do about the SEC bias. It's just like the state.
And you can move the playoff from ESPN to Fox.
It's just like in the state of Michigan. The University of Michigan will always be biased. They'll always be the main team, and all the media will always suck up to them. It doesn't matter how terrible they are. And Michigan State will always be the team that the media just destroys.
The little brother.
Yeah, remember first game of the year, Michigan State beats Tulsa by 21. And it's like Michigan State shows that they have vulnerabilities, and then Michigan beats Middle Tennessee by like 18. It's like Michigan shows flashes of greatness. It's like, give me a freaking break. Now for this game, okay, very disappointed because now the game this Saturday is not the luster is really off it now. But it's still going to be a decent game. But Wisconsin really just. Illinois is always giving them troubles. It's given them troubles the past couple of years, especially 2 years ago when they were undefeated, came to Champaign and only won by 14 against a just awful Illinois team. This Illinois team's okay. They might win 4 or 5 games. They're decent. They have a decent quarterback. He didn't have a great day.
Still 8-4.
What?
They still have a chance to go 8-4.
Yeah, if they win out, which
No, you really don't. Don't worry, the SEC ESPN. Or should I call them ACC ESPN? Because they love the ACC too. Somehow Clemson should be the number 1 ranked team in the country.
Yep. Look
because they won the national championship last year.
Peters was okay. He didn't have a great day, but when it mattered, he made some big throws. That's the guy Michigan needs at quarterback. They need somebody who actually makes big throws when it matters.
Okay, all right. All right, you know what? I'm not going to let you sit here and slander my quarterback. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be like Skip Bayless today, and I'm going to refer to him as my quarterback the whole time.
Is Brandon Peters not your quarterback? He used to be.
No, Jay Patterson is my quarterback.
Well, he's
a gamer.
He's the worst.
This is Michigan's problem. They have loyalty issues. You think JT Barrett was as good of a quarterback as Dwayne Haskins? No, not a chance. Yeah, Urban Meyer stuck with this guy because he's loyal. It's what he's done for him, and it's unbelievable. This is why Michigan sucks year in, year out.
Exactly. It's a business, and Michigan's never understood that. It's a business. Now, Wisconsin's got problems. They can't. They're not very good at stopping the run. And that didn't really show up against Michigan State because Michigan State can't run the football against Tulsa, let alone freaking Wisconsin. But against teams that can run the football, there are going to be some problems because, especially like Ohio State, they're going to have troubles with Ohio State. Ohio State's got to run it up their throats. Now, offensively, I think Wisconsin will be much sharper than they were. They definitely weren't ready to play. They played a perfect game a week ago. They really got up for that Michigan State game, and they really they blew us out big time. They played a perfect game offensively, converting every third down and medium, every third down and long. Jack Cohn was converting. This game, it looked like they were expecting to win easily, and Illinois surprised them. Your classic trap game, and they ended up losing. Wisconsin. Good thing for Wisconsin is they still have a chance to make the playoff. If they beat Ohio State twice, it's kind of hard to do, but they could still get in the playoff. It's this week that they need to redeem themselves. Illinois wise, they've got speed, they've got a lot of talent on that roster, just a lot of young guys. Wisconsin always struggles with the teams that are talented and that are speedy. That's why they always lose to Ohio State every time. And they lost to Penn State last year. They were down last year though, I guess. So, but they need to run the football if they want to beat Ohio State. And Jack Cohn has to be perfect. He's got to convert every third down and medium, every third down and long. And he threw that terrible interception. He was actually okay stat-wise. It was just that interception that cost him the game. They should have just ran the ball. It was third. They should have just ran the ball, and if it was fourth down, make them drive the field to beat you and not throw a stupid interception.
Yeah, well, that was coaching. Wisconsin, they're probably a bottom of the top 10 team. They're good.
But, they're going to go 10-2. 9-3 because they're going to lose to Ohio State and Iowa. But, and they'll probably... they're not a player.
Oh.
Paul Chris, fireable offense calling a pass play there with Jack Cohen, but let's talk about Illinois.
Chris would be the most hated AD in all of in the entire country. He'd be firing his coaches after one game. He'd be the Mel Craig of college football. Is what he would be.
All right.
Illinois, what a performance! Brandon Peters, what? My God, she is a gamer. Unbelievable.
Everybody's a gamer.
You know why? You know one of the biggest reasons he's a gamer. You know why?
This is a trap question. These guys say
It's the quarterback guru.
I can't hurt to criticize Lovie Smith because I can either say that he should have been at Michigan with Jim Harbaugh because he's such a great coach, or they let him go to such a great coach, Lovie Smith. It's a no-win situation.
Lovie Smith, the quarterback guru. Unbelievable. And Lovie Smith had his team ready to play. What a performance from the Illinois Fighting Illini. Unbelievable. Lovie Smith, he's worked his way up the depth chart. I think he's the second best coach of the Big Ten now. He's up there. If he beats Iowa, I'll move him ahead of Kirk Ferentz. Wow. What Lovie Smith in Illinois. What a performance.
Here's the other thing I don't understand. Is every single time an upset like this happens with a new coach, this is a program building win. No, it's not. It's a fluke upset, and they'll go back to sucking. It's not a program. Like, what? Is the recruit going to be like, oh, now that they're going to beat Wisconsin, I'm not going to go to Michigan. I'm going to go to Illinois instead? Like, no, give me a break.
Well, no recruit wants to go to Michigan, so.
No, Lovie Smith set up for the game. They have a brand new facility. People should really recruits got to consider Illinois.
They're also doing campaigning. So.
What a performance from this football team! Well, unbelievable. Okay. Ohio State barely beats Northwestern 52-3. What are your reactions?
Yeah, just an awful win by Ohio State. Instead of beating them by 50, they should have beat them by 70.
Yeah, embarrassing.
It's just an absolute joke. What? Ryan Day, fireable offense.
Right. Luke, talk about getting expelled from the Big Ten. Ohio State should be expelled for losing this game.
Yeah, they should be expelled from the Big Ten and go to the SEC because that's the only conference where they can face competition. Clearly.
Yep. Yeah, just ask SEC, ESPN.
Exactly. Just ask SEC, ACC, ESPN.
Yeah.
I thought we played really well. I thought Justin Fields again. Western has had a really good defense, and they do. I think they're well coached by Pat Fitzgerald, but I just think it just shows the talent that Ohio State has this year, along with a dynamic quarterback who can open up the run game by being able to give J.K. Dobbins a lot more lanes to run through, and my guy Master Teague, the second best running back in the country. I just think with Ryan Day, it brings a new dynamic that Urban Meyer didn't have. I think Urban Meyer was getting a little bit stale, and Ryan Day's bringing it back. Still the only undefeated coach in Ohio State history.
Absolutely freaking embarrassing. 52-3. Are you freaking kidding me? Fire Ryan Day. Fire his whole staff. That's a freaking joke. Are you kidding me?
That's what happens when you bring Michigan coaches over to your program.
Yeah, it's an absolute joke. Justin Fields, 194 yards passing. Are you freaking kidding me? That's terrible. And who is this? Who is this Chris Chugunau guy? Who the hell? Justin Fields got benched. Are you freaking kidding me? What a joke.
Yeah, unbelievable. They benched Justin Fields.
Unfreaking believable. And then you look at the running game. Dobbins, 121 yards. Are you kidding? That's awful. Master Teague, more like Jeff Teague. Are you kidding me? What a joke. This team's an absolute joke. They shouldn't be allowed to ever play college football ever again.
Yeah, embarrassing win for Ohio State. Really showing again why they're not a very good football team. And honestly, they shouldn't be ranked in the polls because they have not played a team with a pulse. So until this week, they're going to play Wisconsin, finally getting some competition. So that'll be interesting to see.
Honestly, Ohio State, we should just move to the OAC. Back to the OAC. The only they give us. Mount Union, John Carroll. Capital. What a team Capital is. Shows you how balanced the OAC is. Capital lost 90-0 to John Carroll a couple weeks ago.
That's what happens.
Well, let's move on. We have Power 5 conferences and an irrelevant conference on here.
I was gonna make it Power 7. I was gonna make it Power 7 with the way the Mountain West has played this year, but they didn't fit on the page, so that's unfortunate.
What's the irrelevant conference? The ACC?
The American.
No, it's the ACC.
The only reason the SEC and ACC are relevant is because ACC, SEC, ESPN hypes them up so much.
All right, let's start with the ACC. Who will win the ACC?
Clemson. I don't think they face that FPI predictor gives them over an 80% chance to win every single game. I think the biggest competition they're going to face is South Carolina at the end of the year. The only team that has a chance is Wake Forest. Well, they're probably going to play Pittsburgh or North Carolina again in the
North.
championship.
Okay, no.
Mac Brown.
Well, let's look at the standings here. Clemson's got a commanding lead. They've got Wake Forest later in the season. They should easily win the Atlantic. I think they'll get up for that Wake Forest game and blow the doors off them. Very interesting battle in the Coastal. Now, if Virginia wins the Coastal, there will be seven different winners in 7 years for the Coastal Division, which is absolutely mind blowing. That's just impossible. There's no way that can happen, but it might happen. Well,
now I got to root for Virginia. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Let me just take a look at Virginia's schedule. Who they got down here? Duke, Louisville, North Carolina, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech. That's a tough one, actually. I think they'll win out. I got to give it to Virginia, although I love Pitt, but Pitt got unlucky and had to play in the first game of the year. But Pat Narduzzi's defense is the best in the country.
Clemson's going to win the conference. I think they're going to beat Pittsburgh in the championship. But Clemson's not going to make the playoff because they're going to lose to South Carolina.
All right.
Okay. Let's move on.
See, the problem Clemson has is they have zero room for error.
That is
If
true.
they lose one game, they're out.
Yeah.
Just like UCF.
All right. Who will win the American?
Oh, what a conference. What a conference. I think Cincinnati's going to come out of the East. Luke Fickell, one of the best coaches in the country. Don't be surprised if he's taking a big-time job. Might be taking over from Mark D'Antonio, because that's one of the biggest jobs in the state.
I hope not. I don't want him. I don't want him at all. No way.
And I think I'm going to have to go. I think the West is going to be between SMU and Navy. I think that game near the end of the year is going to decide it. What is that, week 11? Week 10, they play Navy and SMU play. So, but I think Navy will win it. But I think Cincinnati's going to win the conference.
Oh, this is a tough one for me because I really want to pick UCF to come out of the East, and I think it's possible. If they win out and Cincinnati loses their last 2 games of the year, they play a tough Temple team and a tough Memphis team. That could derail them. Oh, but you got to look at Temple. I mean, that's another tough one. I mean, there could be a 3-way tie. I don't know where that would go. But just right now, based off of the standings, I got to go with Cincinnati. And the way SMU's playing, I don't see anybody beating them. I think they might go undefeated this year. That might be the 10th undefeated team we have this year.
Yes, of course they'll be going undefeated.
Well, let's take a look at their schedule. Who they have to play? They got
Navy. That's a tough offense.
They do have Navy and Memphis and Tulane
and Tulane.
They play East Carolina.
Yep. East Carolina, always a tough game.
Oh, that's a tough game. That's
Yep.
a tough game.
Yep, they might.
Be shocked if they go undefeated next year.
Yep, they might. Listen, East Carolina might make them walk the plank. You never know. With a very good team. No, I gotta go. I'm going SMU over Cincinnati in the American Championship game, and SMU will just miss the playoff as the number 5 team in the country.
Okay, all right. I refuse to pick this conference. Okay, let's move on to the Pac-12.
Did I mention that these picks are worth 10 games, each of them?
Yeah, it's fine. Who will win the Pac-12?
Well, I think at this point it's obvious that Oregon's going to come out of the North. I think really realistic. I think even if they lose 2 games, they're going to come out of the North. The North is just absolutely beat up.
Look what happened to Cal.
Cal, what a team! They're just 1 year away, Chris. 1 year away. That's all it is. But next year they could go undefeated. Even ask Mike; he's thinking that too.
No, no, definitely not.
And I think the South is going to be Utah. I just think they're the best team, even though they do have a tough Cal defense and Washington left on their schedule. But other than that, they have Arizona, UCLA, and Colorado. It's an absolute snooze fest. But I think that's probably going to be one of the best conference championship games this year, Oregon versus Utah. And I think the Utes are going to put down the duck. They're going to be going duck hunting with their spears and their feather hats.
All right. Well, you know your conference is good when Oregon State's the second number 2 team in the North. Very good team. They're on the right track. I will be picking Oregon State to win the conference next season. With the way that Oregon loses everybody and everybody else in that conference loses everybody, I got Oregon State winning the North next year. What?
But if Oregon loses 1 game and Oregon State wins out before that game against Oregon,
all right.
Oregon State would win that game because Oregon would find a way to choke.
Well,
no, but they have to play Washington and Arizona State and Washington State.
Well, no, they have both those games at home, Washington and Arizona State.
Yeah, but they have to play. It doesn't matter if they're at home. Oregon State has that huge home field advantage in Corvallis.
No, they could win the conference.
Listen, look at Oregon State's schedule. They should have beaten Stanford. They kind of choked that game away a little bit, even though they came back. The surprising thing about Oregon State is their defense isn't, I mean, it's terrible, but it's not like 120th in the country terrible. It's only like 90th in the country terrible, which means that their senior quarterback, Jake Luton's been able to get it done. And he's definitely the best quarterback in the state of Oregon. It's not even close. And the best head coach in the state of Oregon also resides in Corvallis as well. But they might lose out. Yeah, they're going to lose out. They just don't, they're not quite ready yet. I'm going with Oregon. Oregon's basically sealed it. Out of the South, I'm also going to go with Utah. I mean, look, USC's, they might. I wouldn't be shocked if USC got hot late in the year, and they already got the tiebreaker. But they play Oregon and Arizona State. I don't see them winning. I got Oregon and Utah, and I got Oregon winning it because I don't like Utah. I think Utah is kind of garbage. They just got lucky with the schedule they had to play. So I've got Oregon winning that.
Well, it happens to be that my new team is Utah. So I have Utah beating Oregon in the Pac-12 championship, and I have Utah making the playoff.
Okay, no, that's worse than me saying SMU is going to finish just outside of the playoff.
The Pac-12 is going to get a representative this year in Utah at 12-1 out of the Pac-12. So you can look forward to that. They have a really good defense. I really like Utah.
I don't.
Okay, the Big 12.
Oh God, what a conference this is, Big 12. Obviously, I think it's going to come down to Baylor and Oklahoma. Maybe Iowa State might sneak its way back in there. But when's that Baylor-Oklahoma game?
It's coming. Yeah, it's late in the year. It's like the third to last game of the year.
Yeah, it's going to come down to that game. I think Oklahoma is going to win it. But they have that conference championship game between the top 2 teams, right? So it's going to be a rematch in the championship game. I wouldn't be surprised if Baylor pulled it up.
No.
But but I think Oklahoma's going to win the conference.
You know what this Baylor team reminds me of? It reminds me of that Iowa team back in 2015 that went 12-0 and lost in the conference championship game. Beat absolutely nobody. Had the luckiest schedule I've ever seen a team from the West have, besides maybe Minnesota this year. But Minnesota's actually got some competition in the West. For Baylor, they've got Oklahoma and Texas, but they're both at home in back-to-back weeks. I think they can win one of those games and go 11-1. And that's what I think they're going to do. They'll lose to Oklahoma, beat Texas, and it'll be 12-0 Oklahoma versus 11-1 Baylor in the conference championship game. And I got Oklahoma winning that. I think Baylor's good, but Oklahoma's defense has separated them in the Big 12 this year. I don't see anybody beating them.
Baylor's a 9-3 football team. They're losing at TCU.
Okay, TCU doesn't even have a quarterback, so.
Well, it's really set. It's going to be Oklahoma and Texas. Those are the two best teams.
That's ridiculous.
No,
Texas is terrible. They almost lost to Kansas. Are you kidding me?
Both teams are going to win out. It'll be 12-0 Oklahoma against 11-1 Texas. And Oklahoma will get the job done.
Chris, I give Oklahoma State a better chance than Texas of making the conference championship game.
Oklahoma State has 3 losses.
Yep, I still give them a better chance because I don't trust Texas one bit. Their defense is garbage. Oklahoma State. I trust Mike Gundy. Give me Mike Gundy.
Oklahoma over Texas. I got the Big 12. All right, the SEC.
The SEC ESPN conference. I think the East is obviously the most competitive. It's a shame that Missouri has lost 2 straight after they started 5-0. That's Chris's team right there. But I think that Florida Georgia game this week or next week? Next week. That's going to decide. That's going to decide who wins the East, and I think Florida's going to win, and I think it's going to be a rematch, Florida LSU, because Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the country.
No, I don't.
When I say country, I mean NFL and NCAA and high school.
Okay. I don't trust Florida one bit. I don't trust Kyle Trask one bit. I think Georgia will turn it on by that time. I don't think. Listen, I Florida's in my top 10. Georgia isn't, but Georgia's more talented, and I think they'll turn it on by then. And it is Kirby Smart. Got to keep that in mind. Kirby Smart's a crappy head coach, but Dan Mullen's not very good either. So I got Georgia winning the East. In the West, Alabama for me. And until somebody beats Alabama, I got to take them. LSU. I think LSU will give them a run for their money, but I think Alabama will pull it off. I think, if Tagovailoa is healthy, I think they'll do fine. But I think the game's going to be close. I think LSU is going to blow the doors off of Bo Nix, who's garbage himself. And I think, it'll be very good. I think Alabama will then destroy Georgia in the conference championship game. And LSU might sneak into the playoff because of it.
I do have 2. I have Alabama and LSU making the playoff out of this conference. I think Alabama gets the job done in the West. They beat LSU. LSU only has one loss.
What about A&M? No, A&M.
LSU only has one loss.
What happened to A&M versus Missouri?
Listen, I'm getting to that.
That'll be a bowl game, Mike.
If LSU is one loss to the number 1 team in the country, especially if it's a close game, they're a lock at that point. So I do have Alabama out of the West. The East, you guys aren't going to like this, but I look at a team like Georgia, and I think they're going to have 3 losses. I think they're going to lose to Florida. I think they're going to lose on the road at Auburn. And I look at a team like Florida, and I think they have another loss in another schedule, and that's at Missouri. Missouri is really tough.
Oh, you're back on Missouri, right? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm not back on. I like them as a team. They're not going to make the playoffs now.
Yeah, you like them as a team. They lost to Vanderbilt. Yeah.
Well,
really
they are
like them
going
as
to
a
be
team.
Florida. Missouri loses once to Georgia, and then there's 3 teams. There's 2 teams at 10-2. I think Missouri gets the tiebreaker, and they beat. They don't beat Alabama. They lose to Alabama in the SEC championship, but that would qualify for them for the New Year's Six.
Please, you can't lose to Wyoming, and they lost to Wyoming and Vanderbilt. They are nowhere near the New Year's Six.
Runner-up, yes, that does get them in the New Year's
Chris,
Six.
you know who beat Wyoming? Tulsa.
Okay, moving on. The Big Ten.
Chris, should Tulsa be in the New Year's Six?
No, the Big Ten.
I think that there's a clear front runner. I think in each division for the Big Ten. I think it's going to come down to Ohio State, Penn State in the East. I think it's going to come down to Paul Bunyan's Axe, Minnesota, Wisconsin in the West. And I think Minnesota's going to get it done. They're going to go 12-0. They're going to be 12-0 in the top 10 going into the championship game. And so Ohio State, who's also 12-0. And then I think in my heart, I'm going to be rooting for Ohio State, but I wouldn't be mad if Minnesota won, because that means the Big Ten will be getting 2 teams in the championship game in the playoff, because there's no way
Ohio State would not get in and have to lose to Minnesota in the Big Ten championship.
A 12-0 Minnesota?
No, they won't get in.
They could be the number 2 team in the country. Ohio State would be a lock. Minnesota would be a lock.
And Luke, they would not get in over Alabama. They would not get in over LSU.
They will, because Alabama's going to lose to LSU. Alabama's not getting in at all.
Either way, the loser of that game's going 11-1. So both those teams are getting in.
No. Alabama's not going to get in. It's going to be LSU, Minnesota, Ohio State, and it's going to be it's going to be Oklahoma or Clemson. It doesn't matter. One of them's going to lose.
Look, if what's the team you just said? If Alabama goes 11-1, they'll be outside the top 25. There'll be 25 undefeated teams.
Okay, I'm not Mike, but
no, I only have 10 undefeated teams.
Alabama's going to
how
lose
many
2 games? They're going to lose to LSU and they're going to lose to Auburn.
Listen, there's 10 conferences, 10 undefeated teams. It's as simple as that. If Notre Dame is undefeated, I pick them to go undefeated as well. All right, Big Ten. Best conference in college football, not even close overall.
Okay. All right, let's take a step back.
No, listen, top to bottom, I wouldn't take anybody. I wouldn't take the American over them. I wouldn't take the Conference USA over them. And I certainly would not be taking the Mountain West over them. So definitely the best conference in college football. Those are the competing ones with them.
The only conference that might take over the Big Ten is the Independent.
That is true. Because every team in the Independent is tied for first place. And that really can't be said for any other conference.
They haven't lost the conference game yet.
Exactly.
None of them.
Exactly. In the East, I think it will come down. I don't know. I think Penn State will have 2 losses when they play Ohio State. They'll lose to Michigan State and Minnesota. And that game won't really mean much. Ohio State's going to blow the doors off them anyway. Michigan, they're going to lose to Indiana, Michigan State, and, of course, Ohio State. They'll be out of it. So that leaves Ohio State winning the East pretty handily. Who knows? They might even look over Michigan that last game of the year. That's how much of a rivalry it is. It's just not a rivalry anymore. And the game doesn't mean anything. So who knows? In the West, I agree with Luke. It will go down to Paul Bunyan's axe. And as you remember, Minnesota absolutely destroyed Wisconsin last year in that game. But this year will be different. Wisconsin will win it. And Minnesota will be 11-1. And who knows? They might sneak into the playoff. You never know.
Okay. The East is, I think Ohio State wins the East. I think they're going to beat Penn State in that game. But looking at Penn State, if they don't lose another game and they except for the Ohio State game, they're going to get serious playoff consideration 11-1, even if they don't. Losing one game to a team that gets to a team that possibly
they got to beat somebody in the non-conference season. That's why LSU's in the conversation, because they beat somebody in the non-conference season. Who did Penn State beat? Freaking Buffalo, and they were losing at halftime. Give me a break.
Right. if Penn State goes 11-1 with one loss to Ohio State, they will get into the
But
playoffs.
who would they have beaten? Minnesota? Minnesota. That's it. That's the only team
They
they
beat
would have
Michigan.
beaten.
They beat Iowa. At that point, they would have beaten
Iowa.
Minnesota.
7-5 Iowa. Great win.
Listen, okay, I'm just telling you, one loss at the shoe is their only loss. They get into the playoffs.
No.
But I'm skeptic of that.
I've said it for years. I've said it for years. You could have a really crappy loss and you'd rather have a crappy loss and a great win than a good loss and a crappy win. It's as simple as that. And Penn State has to beat Ohio State to have any consideration for the playoff.
No, that is so ridiculous.
No, They haven't beaten anybody. You gotta beat some teams to get into the playoff. They haven't beaten anybody.
Penn State could lose to Ohio State, and then have Ohio State lose to Wisconsin and Michigan,
Chris,
and then get the Big Ten championship.
Chris, do you remember that year that Ohio State they dismantled Oklahoma on the road, but they didn't win the Big Ten East because of that? I don't know what game was that?
Field goal.
Yeah, they ended up losing to Penn State that year, and they didn't make it to the conference championship. They still won they still went to the playoff because of that out of conference win. Penn State doesn't have that. They don't have an out of conference win to boost their resume.
No.
What?
Mike, what about this scenario? What if Penn State loses to Ohio State and Ohio State loses to Wisconsin and Michigan, and Penn State gets in the Big Ten championship?
Did you just say Ohio State loses to somebody?
If they lose to Wisconsin and Michigan...
Okay, Ohio State's not losing again. Let's calm down here.
Okay. Well, anyways, Ohio State, and I'm skeptic of Penn State going 11-1 anyway, since they're going to lose this week.
They're going 9-3 like they do every year.
No, 10-2 football team.
Well, then
West, I'm going with Iowa. It's not even close. Iowa's going to win out. They do have to play at Wisconsin in a couple weeks.
Game day. Where's Minnesota located? St. Paul. Game day will be in St. Paul.
They actually
Wisconsin. That was maybe even Minnesota,
No.
Penn State.
Minnesota, Penn State.
Game day will be in St. Paul.
Anyways, then they play Minnesota the next week. I think they win both those games. I think Wisconsin takes care of business against Minnesota and loses to Ohio State.
here comes Chris's Iowa pick.
Iowa the upset over a tiebreaker over Minnesota.
That's so
and then
ridiculous.
Iowa is going to beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship.
Where's Illinois? Come on. Oh, go all the way. Illinois. Come on.
Can't do it.
Come on.
One last conference loss, and I pick Illinois.
All right.
Okay, let's move on.
Have some bollocks, please.
All right, we have the Big Four college football rankings.
Let's see if Michigan State sneaks into the rankings this week after a solid bye
I don't
week.
know how Mike manipulated them this week. I'll have to take a look.
Oh, I didn't manipulate anything. The computer does it anyway. So
There's no chance that they go to St. Paul the week they play Penn State because LSU and Alabama play that week.
It doesn't matter. No, like you said, they've already been to LSU twice. They're not going to go
Well,
to
the game's in Tuscaloosa.
well, considering nobody cares about Minnesota, that game will probably be on BTN to go anyway. So nobody will care.
Okay.
You have to stream on NBC Sports, Milwaukee or Green Bay.
All right. All right, we get the teams that dropped out of the rankings. Unfortunately, Missouri dropped out. Tulane dropped out. Somehow, after winning, Iowa drops out, which is appalling to me.
Because they beat a crappy football team by 6 points.
It doesn't matter. There are teams in this ranking that are terrible football teams, and Iowa's not in it. Same with A&M. A&M needs to be in these rankings. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, after barely beating Ole Miss. Yeah, what a day for Texas A&M. Wow.
Iowa, Navy, Texas A&M, Virginia all received votes. Now let's get into the rankings. After losing to BYU, somehow Boise State is still in these rankings. It's great.
the best part about that was Mike sent his ranking in while that game was going on, saying, assuming a comfortable Boise State win, these are my rankings. I wake up the next morning to an updated ranking. I just updated rankings. It might have been the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Memphis jumped into the rankings. They're a terrible football team. I don't know how they did it.
No, they destroyed Tulane. That's how they got in.
Michigan comes in at 23. Cincinnati at 22. They're a terrible team, too. Arizona State, 21. Wake Forest, how are they at 20? Somebody want to tell me that. How are they number 20?
Because they're in a power conference and they only have one loss by 3 points. It's really as simple as that.
Appalachian State, Iowa State, SMU, not a good team. Wisconsin, Georgia, Texas, Minnesota, Utah, Baylor, Notre Dame, Auburn, Oregon, Florida. The top 6 are Penn State, Clemson, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Alabama, and LSU. Reactions?
Yeah, well, our rankings are very screwed up because the AP rankings are very screwed up, and Alex only copy and paste the AP rankings every week. So they screwed up our rankings. I think Appalachian State is way too low. I think Cincinnati's way too low. I think Oregon's way too low.
I'm considering giving Heath and Max a vote in this just to make our power a little bit less, so that we don't have a Texas A&M situation here. That's a joke.
Heath in the top 10 then.
Heath would be a worse coach than James Franklin. So
who?
Heath would be a worse coach than James Franklin. So
okay, yep.
Consider giving him a vote.
Yep, that is true. I'm not gonna lie. Well, let's go to the top 10. I think it's all right. It's good. I think I'm actually the reason why Alabama moved down from 2-1. I was not impressed with Alabama's performance this week. I don't even remember who they played, but Tennessee. That's right. Tennessee. If it wasn't for a choke by their quarterback, it would have been a one possession game in the fourth quarter. I had to move LSU. What?
It's a rivalry game.
No, yeah, I'm sure it really is a rivalry game. Yeah. Ohio State. I still have Ohio State number 1 in the country. I don't see how you can not have them as the number 1 team in the country. I don't see it. I don't know.
They haven't beaten anybody. They have no.
I think LSU deserves to be number 1 at this point. They went on the road and beat Texas handily.
Their defense, the liability. Can't do it.
I understand that, but right now LSU deserves to be number 1.
Like Ohio State has had one good win.
Yeah, they do.
Cincinnati, higher ranked than Michigan.
Exactly. Cincinnati, that's a good win. Who else? They beat Northwestern. Very good win there. Northwestern's going to make a bowl. They're going to win out, Northwestern. Michigan State, that's a very good victory. Michigan State's only bad loss of the year was against a ranked team, Arizona State. They lost to 3 ranked teams, so that's an okay win. Ohio State's got a couple quadrant 1 wins on their resume. Indiana, I almost had Indiana ranked this week. They were right on the bubble, and I think they'll get ranked. Who they play? They play Nebraska this week. I think if they beat Nebraska, they will be in my rankings this upcoming week. I can guarantee that. That's another good win for Ohio State. Who is LSU beating? Because last time I checked, Texas almost lost to freaking Kansas. So that's not a good win for them. Who else they beaten? Auburn? Or who? They beat Auburn, right? No, they play Auburn. Who they beat? Florida. They beat Florida. Florida, that's a good win. That's a good win. I got to give them credit for that. But Texas is a crappy win.
Okay, there's some teams I already went through that I don't think are very good. But Georgia's way too low for me. I know you guys are all down on Georgia, but
yeah, they almost lost to a team with no quarterback. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, well, they're fine. They're going to figure it out.
No, Jake Fromm is the 3rd best quarterback to play at Georgia in the country. Jacob Eason's better than him, and Justin Fields is better than him.
Luke, I thought you were going to say Jake Fromm was the 3rd best quarterback in Georgia, because I agree with you. The guy from Georgia Tech's better, and the guy from Georgia Southern's better. The guy that got arrested.
Okay, Oregon is ahead of Auburn. I don't know why. Auburn beat Oregon. Just an absurd ranking there.
Because Oregon's better?
No, Minnesota way.
So what you're saying is the first game of the year. Because the first game of the year, Auburn and Oregon. So it comes to the last game of the year, and because Auburn beat Oregon, if Oregon's, let's say 11-1, 11-2, and they're the Pac-12 champ, and Auburn is 11-2, and they didn't even win their division, you're going to have Auburn ranked ahead of them?
Listen, it's transitive property.
11-1, 10-2, whatever.
You can't ignore the transitive property.
I'm pretty sure you can.
Anyways, I have Penn State in my top 4 right now. I don't have Ohio State in there because they haven't beaten anybody, but that might change.
Chris,
Okay.
according to the transitive property, Eastern Michigan's better than Michigan, so keep that in mind.
Okay, well, Michigan beat Illinois, so you can't use it there.
No, they lost to Wisconsin, who lost to Illinois.
No, it doesn't matter. All right.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yep, it does.
Winners and losers from the week.
The winner obviously has to be Joe Burrow. Once again, showing why he's the leader for the Heisman Trophy. And the loser this week has to be Michigan. What an embarrassing performance in State College.
Yeah, my winner's got to be Chris Creighton. After a couple tough losses in a row for Eastern Michigan, he comes out and gets a huge program building win over Western Michigan, a team many thought they had no chance to beat. And that trophy between the three teams is now split because the three teams split against each other, which you hate to see. There should be some sort of playoff for that later in the year. Instead of Army-Navy, they should have an Eastern-Western Central playoff. That would be a lot better. Yeah, that's my winner. My loser, it's got to be Michigan. I mean, my gosh, you have the talent advantage, and you have the coaching advantage. James Franklin's that bad. You have the coaching advantage, and you find a way to lose because your receiver that you recruited choked, and your quarterback couldn't throw it on his. Just wasn't a good enough throw, and he dropped it. It's really simple as that.
All right. I have a couple winners. Lovie Smith, obviously. Brandon Peters for being a big-time quarterback. Iowa, what a win for Iowa. Big winner this week.
Iowa could beat Rutgers, and Chris would have him as a winner.
And my loser for the week is, unfortunately, I have to go with Missouri. Can't lose to Vanderbilt. That was bad.
Oh, but they're still winning the West, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to pick. Oh, we have a new leader. Alex is in first place. Alex, Luke, and I all went 14-4, and just an embarrassing week from Mike at 11-7. Just a shameful week from him.
Yeah, well, I had room for error, so that's all right.
No, obviously not. You're not in first place.
Well, I also picked Michigan because I had the balls to pick Michigan.
All right, USC at Colorado.
USC.
Colorado, very interesting game. Whenever you have these Friday night games on ESPN, you have to be wary of the road team not being ready.
Anytime we have a game like that, the only reason these games pop up is because Mike likes them.
No, these games pop up because I know either Alex or Chris was going to pick Colorado. That's the reason why I put this game on here. I'm taking USC.
Yeah, I'm going with USC as well. Colorado's an absolute doormat, and we're in the process of their collapse. They like to collapse.
No, they got Mel Tucker. That's the reason why Georgia's not as good this year.
Okay, so I'm going with USC. Illinois at Purdue.
This is not a rivalry game. It could be a rivalry game, but I'm going to go with Illinois.
That's a no. Listen, Illinois is going to be high off their win, and it'll be an emotional letdown. It's kind of similar to me to that Purdue game last year when they blew out Ohio State. Then they went to East Lansing and laid an absolute egg. I think Illinois will do the same thing. Give me the Boilermakers in a blowout.
I agree with everything that Mike just said, except for the fact that I'm picking Illinois because I like Illinois.
Fair enough.
The biggest game of the week we have on here, you can catch this game 12 o'clock on Big Ten to go. Liberty at Rutgers.
Yeah, got a huge New York market for Rutgers. I'm going to have to go with Liberty.
Shout out to Joe Fricano, the main quarterback on being the CAA.
Paulie Fricano?
No, it's a different guy. I think it's his brother. Shout out for him being the CAA freshman of the week or whatever. Threw for like 500 yards. Might have been the offensive player of the week on Liberty's defense. In Maine, almost came back down like 50 points, but they fell just short, 59-44.
He's the new starting quarterback. He's for Maine.
What?
Paulie Fricano.
He's the new starting quarterback for Maine.
So he transferred from Eastern Michigan, and he's now the quarterback at Maine. Solid performance. Listen, Rutgers is bad. Liberty, listen, this is a toss-up for me. I'm taking Liberty.
Liberty's good.
I'm taking Liberty, too. These are two really evenly matched games, but I like Liberty as a coaching advantage. A few free.
Wait, Luke, you took Liberty, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
All right. Iowa at Northwestern.
I think Northwestern's going to surprise people with a win.
Yep, I agree with Luke on this one. Iowa is they lose to Northwestern every year. They lost to them. Northwestern was the reason why Iowa wasn't in the Big Ten championship last year. After they beat really a good Iowa team, but they just dismantled them last year, 14-7, I believe was the final score. But this game is being played in Evanston. Iowa has no fan base, so it's going to be an empty stadium. That's advantage Northwestern. Northwestern's going to be mad after their dismantling from Ohio State. Give me the Wildcats. Final score 3-0.
Northwestern is awful. They are terrible. And even if they were good, I'd pick Iowa because Iowa's winning the Big Ten. Give me Iowa.
No, Kirk Ferentz is a terrible coach.
Virginia at Louisville. And I know this game was just put on here, so I pick against Virginia.
Well, I'm taking Virginia because now I'm rooting for them to be the seventh different team to win that division in 7 years.
Oh, that's a solid pick, Luke. I agree with you on that. Louisville's in the right direction. The spread is pretty close in this game. Louisville has some talent. Virginia played out of their minds against Duke last week. I think that'll continue. I've got Virginia winning.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Virginia, too. Louisville, as Mike said, they're going in the right direction, but they just don't have the talent. I'm taking Virginia.
No, they have good talent. Very good talent.
Yeah. Arizona at Stanford.
I'm going with David Shaw and Stanford.
Ooh, you know what? David Shaw is a crappy coach. I'm taking Kevin Sumlin. Give me Arizona.
I agree with Luke. I'm going with David Shaw. My guy, David Shaw.
David Hot Seat Shaw.
Stanford, that's another team that could win the Pac-12.
No, I think they're actually mathematically eliminated.
No, they only have 2 losses in conference. They can
Listen,
win.
tough loss to UCLA.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Tulane at Navy.
Oh, what a game this is. They're not going to be able to stop Navy's offense. I'm going with the midshipmen.
Ooh, you know what? This is a really tough game for me because Tulane beat Army earlier this year, and they beat them pretty convincingly. I didn't like what I saw from Tulane last week, though, and Navy's they're hot right now. Ken Nehemiah Tololo, he knows he's on the hot seat, and this team is playing like he's on the hot seat. I'm taking Navy.
I'm taking Navy because Tulane is absolute garbage.
Nope, they're good. Very good football team. Beat Army on the road that Michigan almost lost to. So, by the transitive property, Tulane's better than Michigan.
Nebraska. Indiana, Nebraska.
Nebraska.
That's a terrible pick. I don't know if Martinez is healthy. He wasn't against Minnesota a couple weeks ago. Even if he's healthy, I think I'm going to take Indiana. even though I don't know if Penix is healthy either, but I think with Ramsey, they can still beat Nebraska. I'm taking Indiana.
Yeah, I'm taking Indiana as well. Indiana's a really good team. Tom Allen will have them ready. Actually, is Indiana favored in this game?
I don't know.
Let me check
I can
that.
look. Yeah, you go ahead. Take a look. They should be.
Oh, it's even. It's even because Tom Allen got a tough time as an underdog. So I'm going to take Indiana. Nebraska's the worst team in the West. Huge rivalry game here. Duke at North Carolina.
I like Mac Brown to get it done.
Yeah, you can catch this game on Comcast Charter Sports Southeast.
Nope, because of the ACC, because of ACC, ESPN. This game will be on ESPN, and it will be promoted as one of the biggest games of the year. This game will decide the Atlantic.
This game, I have
Number one ranked Duke in Joey Galloway's poll versus number 2 ranked UNC.
All I have to do is have Jay Billis rank the games, and then they could have them ranked.
Exactly.
Okay. Man, this game could go either way. You look at a Duke team coming off a just drubbing by Virginia, and North Carolina coming off a deflating, 6 overtime loss to Virginia Tech. They thought they won it several times, and they didn't win it. I wouldn't be shocked if North Carolina came out flat, but I'm trusting Mac Brown to get it done. I'm taking North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina's got to bounce back after that embarrassing loss to Virginia Tech. Give me the Tar Heels. All right, South Carolina at Tennessee.
South Carolina. I just think Tennessee sucks, and I think they will forever.
Tennessee has showed me something over the past couple of weeks. A big win over Mississippi State.
No, they lost to Georgia State.
They did lose to Georgia State, who's a very good football team. Probably the best team in Georgia, if I'm honest. Although, listen, South Georgia is very good as well. So you got to keep that in mind. What else? Valparaiso.
Georgia State lost to Texas State and Western Michigan, and almost lost to Furman. So.
Yeah, well, upsets happen. I'm taking Tennessee. They showed me something against Alabama. I think South Carolina, coming off of 2 big-time opponents, have to go on the road. I think they'll be a disappointing week for South Carolina. I'm taking Tennessee.
Yeah, it's always tough playing Knoxville. South Carolina, 2 really physical opponents the last couple of weeks. And this is a game they lose. They love to win big games and then go and lose teams like this.
Yeah, it's almost as tough to play in Knoxville as it is to play in Ann Arbor. And Ohio State has showed over the past 7 years that's not hard.
I'm taking Tennessee. All right, UCF at Temple.
I'm going to go with UCF. I think, just because I think they have more talent, but I wouldn't be shocked if Temple wins by 20 or 30 points.
Listen, Temple, tough loss for Temple last week. Just outmatched against SMU. But Temple's looked very good this season. They had a convincing win against a fraudulent Maryland team. They beat a good Memphis team. They're solid overall. Good defensive team. They got that Mafia guy at quarterback. So, listen, they'll be in this thing. But I got to go with UCF. Brandon Wimbush, who doesn't even play. I'm still taking the Brandon Wimbush effect. I'm taking UCF.
I'm taking Temple because UCF. Okay, Arizona State at UCLA.
Arizona State. Because what's to say? Arizona State because UCLA sucks.
UCLA's been a tough out past couple of weeks. They've played really tough, despite a loss to a good Oregon State team. But, listen, Herman Edwards, he has one of these games once in a while where he just loses and you're like, how? Last year against San Diego State, they lost that game. I don't think this is going to be one of those games. I think they'll beat UCLA, although watch out for Thompson Robinson. He's a very good quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. But I'm still taking Arizona State.
Yeah, Arizona State, tough physical loss to Utah last week. I expect them to come out firing. Yeah, they're going to win in a blowout. All right, Penn State at Michigan State.
I'm going to take Michigan State. I think their defense is very good, and I think they'll be able to stop Penn State.
Yep, this is my upset of the week, and I don't even know if it's an upset because I don't think Penn State's very good. You give Penn State Michigan State schedule, I wouldn't be shocked if they had the same record. I don't think Penn State's much better than we are. Compounded with the fact they played 2 straight tough opponents, physical opponents, in prime time, and barely won against both teams. Their guard will be down this week. They won't be able to run the ball. I think Clifford makes a couple huge mistakes. I got Michigan State 27-20.
Yeah, I'm going with Michigan State as well. Like Mike said,
Jesus
they played 2
Christ.
really
Come on.
last couple of weeks. It's going to be tough for them to go. I know there's no such thing as a Michigan State football fan, but to go on the road.
There will be a lot of Penn State fans there.
Yeah. I'm taking the Spartans. All right. Auburn at LSU.
I like Auburn in this game. I really do. I think they have a really solid team, good, and I think they'll be able to pull you upset.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, dead serious.
Okay. I was not expecting that. I'm not going to lie, I had you penciled in for LSU before this even started. So, no, Auburn's got a good defense, but their offense, I don't know, they're not going to do anything. It might be close for two quarters, maybe 3 quarters, but I think LSU will pull away like 35-21 LSU.
Psych! I'm going with LSU. Joe Burrow is going to carve up that defense. Auburn's not going to see what's coming. This game's going to be 52-12.
Okay.
What?
Go Tigers.
No, you already picked Auburn, so
Nope.
no,
Go
you
Tigers.
can't change your
Go
pick.
Tigers.
You already penciled in for
Go
Auburn.
LSU Tigers.
There's nothing I
Go
can do.
LSU Tigers. Joe Burrow.
I'm using a Sharpie. I can't change the
You said you had
pick.
me penciled in, so clearly you're using a pencil.
It's just a verb. It doesn't have anything to do with the type of thing you're using.
Okay. This is going to be, I'm ready to make a proclamation. This is going to be the best game that is played all year. These 2 teams, LSU is the better team. There's no doubt about that. But let's look at this. I think Burrow's the better quarterback, but Auburn has the distinct coaching advantage in this game. Big game, Gus Malzahn.
No. How dare you slander Ed Ogeron that way? That's absurd.
Is the game at Death Valley?
Yeah.
Well, Death Valley's where opponents' dreams come to die.
Opponent's dream come to die. That's right.
If this game was at Auburn, I would pick Auburn.
Oh yeah. No, have some balls. Have some bollocks and pick Auburn.
They win on
No,
last second field goal.
You've been blowing. You've been get on your knees for Auburn the last 2 games and Jared Stidham. So you better stick with Jared Stidham if I can take.
I love Auburn, but I can't pick against LSU at home. I can't do it. I think they win in a game-winning field. This is going to be a great game. 2 great quarterbacks. Big game. Gus will have his team ready to play, and this is going to be a great game. But I'm going to take LSU. All right. Wisconsin at Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Listen, this game will be a lot closer than people think, I believe. The reason why I believe that is because how embarrassed Wisconsin was last week. I think they will come out firing. They will go up 7-0. Ohio State will be down in this game for the first time since like Miami of Ohio. But I think Ohio State has too much team speed. I mean, if you went back and watched the Big Ten championship game from a couple years ago, Ohio State, Wisconsin, when Wisconsin was undefeated, Ohio State absolutely dominated that football game, and the only reason why Wisconsin was in it was because of turnovers. And I don't think that And Ohio State is bound to have one of those games where they just turn the ball over a bunch of times. And if it happens this week, Wisconsin will keep it close, but I don't see it happening. I'm going 42-21 Ohio State.
Sorry, I'm going with Ohio State in a blowout. Much better team than Wisconsin. All right. Notre Dame at Michigan.
Notre Dame. I think Michigan sucks.
Listen, there is a 0%. I've been saying this all week. There's a 0% chance Michigan loses this football game. You cannot lose. It's impossible to lose 2 straight Saturday night football games. It's tough to win 2 straight, even though Penn State and Ohio State already did it. But it's impossible to lose 2 straight. Michigan's going to win the football game. I don't think Notre Dame's very good. I'm not going to lie. I haven't been impressed with them all year long. I think they're very overrated. This is very similar to that Wisconsin game. The only top 10 team Harbaugh's ever beaten. I don't think Notre Dame's that good. I think their offensive line's overrated. I think their defense can be exploited. I think Michigan wins this football game, and I think they win it pretty handily. I'm going 34-20 Michigan.
Okay, that Wisconsin team that Harbaugh beat, that Michigan team is a lot better that year in this game.
Yeah, well, I don't think Notre Dame's very good, so I think Michigan's the better football team.
Notre Dame's good. Big rivalry game. I'm really excited to watch this game, even though I know Michigan's going to lose. I'm going to pick Notre Dame for the Jim Harbaugh fan.
I love the Michigan fan attitude. It's so funny.
All right. Any other comments?
Wait, are we not picking the North Dakota State, South Dakota State game?
Oh yeah, let's add that one in right now. I'm dead serious. Well, what's your pick?
I'm picking North Dakota State.
Ooh, I'm taking South Dakota State.
Listen.
Where is the game? Is it in South? It's at South Dakota State, right?
It's in Brookings, or whatever the hell they call it. Listen. When was the last? It's been years since North Dakota State's lost to South Dakota State, and like I've been saying for.
I remember playing a team from Bismarck one time.
Yep. Yeah. Listen. Yep. Exactly. But North Dakota State, like many rankings say, they would be a top 25 team in the FBS.
No.
Now, South Dakota State wouldn't be too far out of the top 25. They competed with an undefeated Minnesota team and should have won that football game. This is going to be a tight game. I'm taking North Dakota State.
Yeah, I'm taking North Dakota State too. I just flipped the coin because I don't care about this game.
Well, that's our 17th game of the week. So.
Okay. Any other comments?
Yeah, let me just say, if Michigan loses this football game, it will be so. There might be booing. I don't know what will happen because he's bound to win one of these games just by dumb luck. Jim Harbaugh is bound to beat a big game, bound to win a big game.
Not when he's trying to lose.
Listen, James Franklin tries to lose, and he still sometimes wins big games.
Jim Harbaugh tried to lose harder than he did.
I actually disagree with you on that one. James Franklin tried to lose that football game a lot more than Harbaugh did. No, but if Michigan loses this football game, it's kind of like it's very similar to the Notre Dame game last year, because last year everybody was expecting Michigan to win that game, and it's kind of similar this year. They were the better team last year and still found a way to lose, and this year's kind of similar, but they are the better team this year again. They should win.
They were not the better team last year.
Yes, they were. They played better.
Notre Dame made the playoff last year.
Well, they played better than Notre Dame that day, and they found a way to lose. Because they always find a way to lose.
All right, a reminder, next week we will be returning with the basketball and the football podcast. Really excited for that.
We're doing a 12-hour marathon of both.
Yeah. Okay, that's going to do it. Thank you all for watching.
It will also be live. A live marathon.
Yep,
Yeah.
we'll be streaming live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. So make sure.
No, actually, we'll be streaming live on ACC Network and SEC Network.
No, make sure
ESPN.
make sure you subscribe to ESPN Plus if you want to see Boomer, 85-year-old Boomer, and Tom Jackson talk about football. with the blitz that came back. All right, that's gonna do it.
Yeah.
Go Bears.